The gluten-free diet is a diet that restricts the ingestion of foods containing the protein gluten. The US National Library of Medicine defines gluten as a family of proteins, known as prolamins, that constitute the storage protein in the starchy endosperm of many cereal grains such as wheat, barley, and rye. The US Food and Drug Administration defines the term gluten-free as foods containing less than 20 parts per million of gluten or 20 milligrams per kilogram. The gluten-free diet has become increasingly more popular as we become more educated on gluten intolerances. Over $15.5 billion was spent on the sales of gluten-free foods in 2016. This is double the amount spent in 2011. This illustrates the growth. The gluten-free diet is only suitable for those affected biologically by gluten intolerances, these including individuals infected by celiac disease, non-celiac gluten sensitivity, and gluten ataxia. Non-celiac gluten sensitivity occurs when ingesting gluten, the body gives off the same physiological effects of celiac disease symptoms. These include diarrhea, malabsorption, weight loss, growth failure, and iron deficiency. Because gluten ataxia is an autoimmune disorder in which the antibodies released when ingesting gluten attack the cerebellum, ultimately compromising control of voluntary movements. Whilst the most prevalent is celiac disease, which is an autoimmune disease which affects individuals with an intolerance to gluten. This affects 1 in 70 of the Australian population and 1% of the US population. The gluten-free diet was made as a therapy for those affected by celiac disease. Evidence that supports the gluten-free diet as a therapy for celiac disease was obtained from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. This occurred in 2009 and 2014, and it illustrated the prevalence of celiac disease remaining stable, with a 50% decrease in undiagnosed celiac disease cases. This illustrates that the gluten-free diet is effective as growth is minimised. Certain socio-cultural factors such as identity and discrimination may cause an individual to adapt the gluten-free diet as a weight loss strategy. This may be effective in the short term as it can cause certain individuals to lose weight. However, it is not sustainable in the long term due to many deficiencies associated with it. The nutritional considerations of the diet need to be heavily acknowledged as it shows deficiencies in vitamins, minerals, as well as macro and micronutrients. The American Dietetic Association undertook a study where a total of 85 gluten-free cereals were tested in order to analyse the nutritional composition of the product. All cereals were found to have lower amounts of thiamine, riboflavin, or niacin, whilst only 37 contained folate, 30 of which have lower amounts than the recommended daily intake. Only 58% contained folic acid, 3 of which were fortified. 83 cereals contained iron, 64 of these had decreased levels, and 26 out of the 85 cereals had lower amounts of dietary fibre. Alimentary Pharmacology and Therapeutics also undertook a study to analyse the composition of nutrients in the gluten-free diet. This study consisted of 139 individuals submitting a 5-day food diary in which the nutritional aspects were investigated. Results found that a large percentage of individuals were prescribed calcium, vitamin D, and iron supplements, illustrating that the gluten-free diet is non-suitable for those who aren't affected by celiac disease or gluten intolerances. Thank you.